He was laughing. He thought it was quite
Yeah.
funny. Quite funny.
Oh wow. You did, well, what was your reaction? You didn't quite get into that. Did you beat his ass?
No, 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 no. I was an athlete. It was just another, you know.
Now
He
see, let me channel John Galt. If you had been a Negro, you would have beat his ass.
I didn't want to beat anybody's ass. I mean, now if you were,
Big scars, bro.
if you wanted, if you were in a team opposite mine in a soccer match, oh, you know, I would want to turf you pretty bad. And if you cheap shot at me, you were definitely getting injured. I mean, it's like your season's over because I'm going to break your ankle or something. But
Oh wow.
in
I
general,
need it back.
if wait for your plant foot and then pop. But if otherwise, I don't want to. I want to hurt anybody. I don't. I've never hit anybody in my life. Didn't hit me first.
Just yell, keeper! And everything's fine.
But with him, it was just And to be honest with you, even I thought it was kind of funny.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but yeah, I just ended up nailing him down myself, and because getting a
Well,
girl.
I wanna segue into this news story. And I think Tom, you were here when it first came up, maybe um, during John's morning show on Friday. And I said I have a unique take on this. And now um, I'm going to fess that I'm going to try and make a short of this to put on my channel. And if it works, fine. If it doesn't, fine. But I think this is an odd argument for knowing American history. So just bear with me. I'm going to try and be a director on this. But
Nice.
it kind of it worries me.
I can tell you right now, the guy on the left, he seems kind of, his, you know what I mean? His body
He
position,
looks
and
like Dan Quayle.
well, he's kind of like, he's like, oh, I don't know if we should do this one here now. You know what I mean? It's kind of,
No, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't get that impression.
Well, yeah, show
I
it,
think he's looking down at the script.
and then I'll tell you. I'll give you the skinny on television news anchors.
Okay.
Unless you want it right now, it doesn't take very long.
The skinny? Or you want
Well, okay. So here's the deal. Some television news anchors are super smart and they know everything. I mean, they're very switched on. But some of them are just they're Ron Burgundy. They just read the teleprompter.
oh,
I
that's
was
funny.
I worked at WTTV4, which was an independent station in Indianapolis, kind of a famous one at the time. But there was a particular news anchor there that I was stunned at how little he knew. I mean, I was absolutely stunned. I'm like, I mean, I never said it to him, but I was like, man, you're really just reading that stuff, aren't you? One
Like
inch,
a Ted Baxter.
and you can tell during breaking news. And this station didn't really have reporters and things too much. They weren't a big news operation. They were an independent station. They showed cartoons and movies and syndicated programming, things like that. A network would have a lot of reporters and stuff, but you watch, and during breaking news these days, that's when you really tell, who knows their stuff. A radio news anchor, very different. That you have to know things. There's no requirement that you look pretty. A lot of these guys are on the air are picked for photogenic reasons, and girls. But there's things that we had news partners at KRLD that were TV stations, and so therefore you sometimes picked up their coverage. Sometimes you just watched them at home because you were interested, and you'd see, say, a fire had started, a semi hit an abutment underneath one of the big highways, and a huge fire breaks out that engulfs the level above it and everything else. And the news anchor's like, well, there's some sort of police there that have responded to cordon things off. And you're going, you don't know which police department that is just by looking at what they're wearing? Are you kidding me? We're not certain if that's the state police, the county sheriff, or the local metro. You can't tell you've been a news anchor for 10 years in this city, and you can't tell that the dark outfit is the city police. Forget jurisdiction, just by what they're wearing and stuff like that just make you go crazy. So I don't expect too much usually, but some of them, and we found out during 9/11, we find out during a shooting incident, we find out any live news, you really can tell, because some of those people really do know their stuff.
For sure.
And but some of them, particularly, and if you get down into the reporters, oh boy, don't even get me started there, because
They're
just Anyway, sorry, I was just. You just never know.
Well, I actually have two people in the chats that I'd like their takes as well. But let's go ahead and roll this.
Racially profiled at the ages of 9 and 10. That's what two Chicago mothers say happened to their daughters while shopping in Chinatown.
Our Suzanne Lemagno has been listening to their story and the lessons learned from the scary moments these two young girls say they endured.
For 10-year-old Malin Hall and 9-year-old Addison Willett, a trip to Chinatown is a monthly, fun-filled experience.
My dad, my mom, my grandma, everybody has bought something from that store. My dad even bought a hat and a bowl from there.
But a recent visit to that store, AJ Housewares and Gifts on January 2nd, left the girls feeling anything but joy.
They started following us around the store.
Then an employee accused Malin of shoplifting a keychain.
I had picked up one that I really liked, but then I put it back because I didn't really want it anymore. And I had just put it on a random shelf because I didn't know where to put it. She was like, empty your pockets out, empty your pockets out. And then I showed her multiple times because I had wore one of my mini bags that day. So I showed her inside my purse. I showed her inside my pockets.
Willett was also asked by the store employee to empty her pockets.
She put her hand on Madeleine's back, and then it looked like she was guiding out the store on the cameras, but she actually was pushing her.
Trying to push her out?
Yeah, but she did. She had pushed me, and then she closed the door and locked it. But also when we were getting, they made us empty out our pockets and stuff.
How did that make you feel?
It made us feel really sad, and just we weren't we didn't matter in that moment type of stuff, because we are human too. And I feel like they didn't think, they just thought of our skin colors. It wasn't anybody in there that was the same color as me.
And that's why you feel you were singled out. Willett's mother, Ashley Fuller, was right outside the store when the girls left, sobbing uncontrollably.
I thought someone hit them, or I just didn't understand what was going on. After I figured out what happened, I contacted the police.
A report was filed for simple battery. No arrest was made. Soon after, Malin's mother arrived.
The bigger picture is that they was racially profiled. They was discriminated against. You placed your hands on my child. That is the bigger issue.
Both mothers reached out to 11th Ward Alderwoman Nicole Lee.
My heart just sank that it happened to them at all. And you know, my immediate reaction was, what can we do to address this?
Lee says she wants to work with other community leaders to create a training program for business owners to stop racial profiling.
There's no place for that in the 11th Ward or anywhere in the city of Chicago. And we want to make sure that people are educated about that.
Lee says as for AJ Housewares and Gifts,
I think they acknowledge the mistake that they made at the end of the day. And I think they feel badly that this was the experience that they had. And they're keen on participating in the training.
the store echoed that sentiment in this statement. We deeply regret the harm caused by this incident. We take full responsibility. We will do better.
Alderwoman Lee wanted to right a wrong and show the girls they did matter and that Chinatown cares about them.
I cannot wait. Lee had the girls at the helm of the 11th Ward float at the Lunar New Year parade in Chinatown.
That was amazing. It was really fun.
Both Hall and Willay say this is a teachable moment for business owners, and something good can come out of what they've endured.
Nice to know that somebody is going to make a program for business owners to not profile people. I feel like now I'm protected, and I feel like justice has been served for us and other people that have went through the same thing. And I really hope this never happens again because this is a horrifying experience.
Suzanne Lemonnier, CBS News, Chicago.
Well, I have to say, bullshit. Didn't these little girls, and quite frankly, didn't their, I have some problems with, I hope they do a deeper dive into how this happened. Didn't these two little girls learn that there was racial profiling in America for like 100 years before they were born? Why were they not prepared for this? Why would they cry? Why did their parents not prepare them for this? You're in Chinatown. Don't be surprised, little girls, if, and God damn it, why weren't their mothers in the shop with them? You don't fucking send your kids into a place like that if you suspect something like this might happen. My analysis, poor parenting on several different layers.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous in that the news, and you know me, I'm okay with the news media. I don't think they create stories, but this is one of those times I'm like, this is manufactured.
Appeal to emotion.
Well, it's worse than that. Appeal to stupidity.
Oh yeah. And ignorance.
There are about 100 questions I would be asking those mothers. And, you know, I won't even go into the more prickly parts of what I would ask, but you don't take your kids to Chinatown and send them into a store. You go with your kids into a store. You always be with your kids. What the F?
Drop them off like it's daycare. See you in a few hours, kids.
It became a story.
Oh, that can't happen. Not in Chinatown. Not in any town.
Yeah,
Disappear in 5 seconds.
Became a story.
Tom, go ahead.
It became a story when the alderman got involved.
Yeah.
You know,
if the alderman wasn't involved, then
alderman,
this doesn't make us
alderwoman.
Yeah.
True.
Alder person.
All I have to say is bad shows CBS News for following this up. I don't understand whether this is some
feel good fluff piece, though. They got that feel good at the end, you know, and everybody becomes unified.
Well,
and
that's part of
we
the
learn
problem. It's the
lessons,
feel good
you know.
at the end. So hopefully, um, you get my point. I've been to Chinatown in DC, loved every minute of it. But my son and my wife, you don't let your kids go into a store unaccompanied. Of course, these kids are gonna touch stuff. Where was the parent to tell them, don't touch that?